Everyone can plan one step ahead, but it does not mean that everything happens the way you've predicted. I expected to find my father, to learn all his secrets, but I was too late. With my own hands, I killed all of my friends. I did not even get to see them. Only the annoying, duplicitous voice never left me, always irritating the unhealed wounds of my soul. And finally, it found a way to destroy it, but even that was not the end. Tungate is the reason for everything that has happened to me. It showed me its world and started to trust me, but I betrayed it. It was yet another of my mistakes. Surviving all this miraculously didn't make me lose my mind, but now, I feel like I'm going insane after all.
Monkey! Monkey! Monkey, are you there? You finally woke up. You're probably a little surprised that I'm back in your head. I'll say you frankly, if I do something other than what you want, it isn't because I want to kill you. Yeah, I keep saying that you're too stupid to live because you're a brainless amoeba. But hey, think for yourself. If I wanted to kill you, I would do it as easy as I did with your blithering friend Swanson. Don't you forget that I'm in control of your senses? And now listen carefully. I am sick of sitting in your loggy head. Now I still prefer to go forward, not sit still. Go ahead, monkey.
Philip wakes up to find Clarence back in his head. Before he can react, he suddenly hears the nearby computer activate.
Oh my god, I'm so glad you're alive. I didn't hear a word from you for a whole day, or so. I'm so glad you're alright. Sorry, but I have to move constantly. That's why we haven't met yet. By the way, it turns out that I'm not infected. I left a note for you back then. It was so silly of me. I'm sorry. And yes, a notification from the main core of the shelter yesterday came on my computer. Well, on the computer which is near me. It appears that someone summoned some kind of expedition, and they're searching for survivors right now. They're sending a signal to all computers in the station, to people like me and you. Don't lose hope, and immediately move to them.
Actually your eyes are not deceiving you. Either you believe me or not. Yes, I've played a little with you, but only at the very end. And if I did this at the beginning, we both wouldn't be here now, would we? So take my word for it. It is a great pleasure to see how you're suffering and writhing in pain. But I don't want to disappear just because of your stupid monkey can't understand simple jokes.
Confused over everything that has happened, Philip rushes to the antidote chamber to find that he did in fact use the cure, leaving none remaining. The possibility that he is still within Requiem crosses Philip's mind. But that is not the case, Philip. After regaining his composure, he sees no point in remaining in this accursed office. Reaching for his glow stick, he finds that it is dead. leaving him with just his flashlight.
So, based on the fact that you're infected and I'm the most reasonable person here, I can surely say this corridor's changed a bit. Let's play. You find the way without my help, and I'll give you a shiny penny.
Exiting, he finds the infected corpse that Clarence had inhabited, confirming that what he had experienced after curing himself was real, as were the events with the turn gate. Searching around the abandoned research wing, Philip catches several glimpses of flashlights waving around in the distance, as well as a dog, but fortunately for Philip, it seems the infected have departed the research wing. As he continues exploring, he finds that the kennel entrance has collapsed, much to his relief. Moving along, he returns to Amabel's office, which he quickly enters, finding an infected corpse where he had seen Amabel's body. With the revelation that it truly was an infected, Philip is convinced that Amabel is still alive. Unknown to Philip, the infected corpse was Eleanor, whose story was covered previously. Upon further exploration, he finds a room filled with the bodies of the scientists who tried to hide from the infected, as well as a rope. Philip finds an open window, naturally throwing himself out of it.
What are you up to? If you don't care about your own life, think about mine.
Philip finds an open window. Naturally, he uses the rope to climb down to the lower levels of the research wing. Eventually coming across a small office with a radio, Philip begins searching for parts to fix it. Having successfully reached the storage area, Amabel once again makes contact with Jayla.
Dr. Swanson, I see you're still with us.
I managed to make it out of the morgue. I'm not quite sure where I am now, but I've made contact with Philip. Thankfully, he's still alive.
Excellent. Do you have any idea of Philip's whereabouts?
He was in the research wing. Last I saw him. I doubt he'll be staying around, though.
I see. If you make contact with him again, let me know.
Having been informed of Philip's last known location, Jayla sends 3 of her squad mates to the infirmary in the hopes of capturing Philip should he make it that far. Philip, having gathered the components, manages to repair the radio.
What? Did it work? Hooray! I managed to do it! No, they will not find about it sooner than needed. Philip, hi. Brace your companion, who, despite all the hardship, does not break the thread of friendship. Just do not worry and do not drown in your own poop. You've helped me twice, and I will not deny you my help, my friend. You can think of me as your guardian angel, saving you from the clutches of demons and reapers of justice. Your gases are circulating like the juice inside trunk of consciousness, and the shadows are taking roots in its foundations. But I'm sorry, I cannot talk very long. I've only got 3 minutes to get out of here. Goodbye, pal.
Hey, can anyone hear me? We've come to save you. We found that someone survived on the station. We'll try to fight for your lives. My name is Jayla Kwon. I'm an operator, and I'll report you of our movements whenever I can. Stay in touch.
Oh, I can see your words gently tickling your ears. But wait. Don't you think that you've gotten yourself in a very stupid situation? You've got a virus inside you which can make everything out of you. And you decided to go to your fellow apes. Do you want them to scare them away? And don't you afraid to be tied and thrown on the operating table and I'm starting to mess around with your brains till they understand that they were wasting your precious time on you? They'll do it. And I take care of it if you suddenly forget that the Uncle Clarence prefers to liberate from the menageries with foolish, undisciplined macaques.
Of everything that just happened, the most shocking event is Philip hearing Red's voice on the radio. Is it true? Has Red returned to the world of the living just as Philip did? Philip also hears Jayla Kwon for the first time. Although the connection is one way, it confirms to Philip that a rescue team has arrived. Now with the goal of reaching the rescue team, Philip pushes on. The first obstacle is a locked door, requiring a code to unlock. Philip checks a nearby office and finds a key. He immediately knows the door it unlocks. Escaping the infected Turngat, Philip returns to the locked door with a newly acquired screwdriver and unlocks a nearby vent, taking him to the cryo chambers.
Frankly, I'm not surprised with such turn of events. Something like this always happens to you. Move your legs and think about what we've got to do. We both don't want to freeze here now, do we?
Barely escaping the freezer, Philip cautiously searches the cryo chambers, keeping a close eye out for the Turngat, who was formerly the scientist named Sasha. After unlocking the individual cryo chambers, Philip finds a floppy disk in one of the infected subjects. Uploading it to a nearby computer, he acquires a list of codes used throughout the shelter, one of which just so happens to be the code he needs to access the sewers. Unlocking the sewers, Philip quickly regrets his decision.
And here is our old friend. Have you ever wondered why they all want to kill you? Now did you spy one of them? They used to be our friends not too long ago.
With Sasha in close pursuit, Philip carefully makes his way through the sewers, looking for an exit. At one point, finding a sealed door with a roach laying on the ground behind it. Wanting no part of that, Philip successfully finds the exit and escapes. Finding himself in a chemistry lab, he is forced to once again complete a series of chemistry puzzles. Yay! During this insufferable experience, Philip finds a note detailing the Archaic's use of substances discovered in Site B, some of which they intend to add to the periodic table. It is possible that some of these substances could have been used in the DNA experiment. Entering the residential wing of the secondary laboratories, Philip finds a security office. Only one problem.
Do you want to guess what it is? Do ya?
Ding ding! It's locked! And this time, it requires a keycard. Philip now embarks on an epic quest to find said keycard. His first objective is to repair another generator. To do so, he needs to find 3 fuses. He finds the first one inside one of the apartments, and a second one by the generator itself. Philip then explores a library area, finding that he can alter the layout, allowing him to progress past it, where he finds the 3rd fuse. On his way back to the generator, he discovers a room full of artifacts the Archaic had collected during their excavations. After oohing and eyeing at the artifacts, Philip gets back to work.
I've never liked electricity, although I never had to deal with it. Why aren't there any magic buttons nearby in such moments? You could have just pressed one and get everything to work. Although, wait. There it is! Push the button! Hey, does nothing happen? If only you could see your face.
Unfortunately, the magic button theory turns out to be a dud. Philip eventually finishes repairing the generator, but while he is climbing the ladder back to the main floor, he sees something watching him from the top.
Good eye.
Attention to station personnel. Power supply of the living compartment and adjacent residential buildings has been restored. If you notice any faults, please inform a member of the personnel with status code A or a technician. Thank you for your attention.
Blah, blah, blah. You think we haven't noticed that everything has started to work?
With the generator now active, Philip returns to the library section and is able to access the powered door.
Oh, he looks harmless. Maybe he can help us get out?
What was that?
Having evaded the turn gate for the time being, Philip uses the newly acquired vent tool to enter the ventilation, conveniently discovering the keycard in a connected apartment. How fortunate. Realizing he has to go back, Philip carefully sneaks through the hallways. Escaping his pursuer once more, Philip hurries back to the security office.
Glad to see you again. This is great luck that you managed to get here. I have 2 pieces of news. I think I'll start with a good one. I managed to contact a rescue group and told them about us. And now the bad one. You're not in the best place. There is an abandoned part of the shelter station close to you, and unfortunately, given the circumstances and destruction, you can only pass through there. I don't know what's waiting for you there, but even before the infection, there were many unpleasant rumors about this place. Anyway, there should be a comm radio in this room. Take it and wait for a signal from the rescue group. They will help you out. Be careful.
Philip, listen to me. There has to be another way. You heard yourself what they said about that place. Are you just going to forget about your old pal Clarence? Did I not deserve you to listen to me?
Hello? Do you copy? You must be Philip. I'm Jayla Kwon, the rescue group signalman. Amabel told me about you. As you probably already know, you can only get out through an abandoned part of the station. I'll open the door for you.
Having been informed that he must traverse the abandoned part of the shelter, formerly known as Site C, Philip braces himself and enters. At this time, Jayla's squad mates, led by Paul C., finally reach Amabel.
Dr. Swanson, is that you?
Who are you?
I'm a part of Jayla's team. We're here to rescue you. Can you unlock the door, then we'll escort you to Jayla?
What about Philip?
That's our problem to solve. Firstly, let's get you to safety.
Okay, lead the way.
Paul quickly escorts Amabel back to the Archaic HQ, keeping his team's real mission a secret. It is here that Amabel and Jayla finally meet.
Dr. Swanson, a pleasure to finally meet you in person.
Likewise. Have you located Philip?
Yes, he's nearing Site C, unfortunately. I was going to try and guide him through the tunnels, but the old section of the shelter was abandoned before cameras were even installed.
How did you know that?
In the past few hours, we've discovered several documents about this place, including a map that's been quite helpful.
I see. Well, if there's anything I can do to help...
Don't bother. We'll take it from here.
Having safely rescued Dr. Swanson, Jayla turns her attention back to Philip as she watches the cameras, hoping he can make it through the abandoned Site C.
saw the maps of this station, but the layout of the place where you are now will be of little use. It shows only a couple of major corridors. Judging from the description of the area, this place is larger than we expected, and has many hallways, like a maze. Unfortunately, there are no cameras, so you'll have to rely solely on yourself. Take care. I'll contact you later.
With even Clarence terrified of what lies ahead, Philip opens the entrance, only to notice gas leaks. He is forced to wear his gas mask.
It's getting worse and worse. I hate this goddamn place already. Let's not go there. Sure, I try to look like the embodiment of courage, but sometimes even I get scared.
Philip finds himself in a maze with no visible exit.
He
Philip barely manages to escape the hunter's lair, in the process finally seeing what Frisk has become. Philip discovers a blue artifact shortly after escaping. Unfortunately, Philip finds himself being blocked by a locked door. However, he finds a conduit next to it. Placing the blue artifact inside the conduit, he activates it. Having traversed time, albeit briefly, Philip was able to bypass the locked door before it was ever locked. Meanwhile, the 3 guards present in the infirmary are suddenly attacked by Turngats. In the chaos, a steam pipe is shot, causing the death of one of the Turngats. The gunshots attract the attention of a nearby rock worm, who makes his way toward the infirmary. This causes a cave-in, trapping one of the operatives on the other side of the rubble, presumably crushing his leg in the process. The second is slain by a Turngat, wielding an axe. The third turns and flees, back all the way to the Archaic HQ, unknowingly being followed by the same rockworm.
On the camera, you managed to get out. Everything will be much calmer down there. There are plans for the rooms hung on the walls. With them, you can easily find your way through. Now, you need to move in the direction of the north wing. There's another door next to it. It leads to the compartments in which the prisoners were kept.
Philip finds himself in the ruined residential wing, the area looking oddly familiar. After passing the cafeteria, Philip makes his way toward the infirmary. As Jayla monitors Philip's progress on the security cameras, the surviving operative from the infirmary reaches the Archaic HQ. Before they can explain anything, they all hear a loud humming noise. Suddenly, the rockworm bursts out of the wall. A chaotic fight ensues, as the operatives fire at it without effect. One by one, the rockworm, joined by several roaches, slaughter the operatives. The only survivors of this attack are Jayla, Paul, Amabel, as well as one additional operative, each running in different directions. Jayla eventually reaches the mess hall. Paul C. flees to the lower levels of the HQ, while Amabel flees toward the specimen lab, where she finds a small safe room with a working laptop. The other operative flees to the hangars, eventually realizing they have become infected. Knowing that they are beyond help, they seal themselves in a cargo container.
A bad worker is an inefficient worker. The cast cares about your mental and physical condition. So if you're feeling unfit, please remember about your cyanide capsules.
I don't have much time, but I think the best way of lifting the mood is a nice chat with a friend. We're friends, aren't we? I would love to pour a cup of tea for you and offer you to sit down in a comfortable chair, but unfortunately, I'm very far from you. I suggest you to stay, but you still have things to do. I may not be perfect like a hanging picture, but my words are wise and backed up by time. Understand the nature of what is happening, Philip, and then you will find the right way. But it's a shame that you and I have different paths.
Reaching the infirmary, Philip discovers a dead Turngat with a crowbar in its hand. Realizing its grip is too tight to pry it from its hand, Philip searches the infirmary. He soon finds an unconscious survivor. It's Elof Carpenter.
Don't touch him! He must find a way out himself.
Unsure what to do, Philip heeds Clarence's advice and leaves Elof where he is. Checking the halls, he finds a cave-in with the injured operative still alive and coughing on the other side. In the restroom, he finds the corpse of the unknown scientist he heard getting gutted when he first arrived in the shelter. With no luck, Philip finds the north wing and decides to check if he can find anything useful. Philip realizes the hallway looks awfully familiar. After reliving that lovely experience, it naturally causes Philip to quickly return to the infirmary, where he remembers the medical drug he found during his search for the fuses. Injecting it into the Turngat's hand causes it to loosen its grip, allowing Philip to take the crowbar and progress to the cells.
There's no movement on the straight line. The movement is always cyclical. But where are you going now? Are you going there now? Whence you came from and then back again here and there. And during this fascinating journey, you'll listen to your girlfriend's annoying messages. Philip, we're close. We've almost met. Only you won't meet them. And best they'll die. That was me and you. Your attempts to get out are like trying to get a coin from the bottom of a swamp.
Realizing he has traveled in a massive circle, Philip despairs. Without any other option, he travels through the same vents, knowing that they lead to the mess hall. After getting bogged down by steam valves for 20 minutes, Philip reaches the mess hall. Ever since escaping the worm that massacred her team, Jayla had remained in the mess hall, trying to decide on her next move. She ultimately realizes that the mission has failed. With her team dead and her target's locations unknown, she activates her desktop and coincidentally finds Amabel on the network. The two make contact.
Dr. Swanson, you made it?
Yes, I managed to escape the meteorological lab. I found a small safe room. Did anyone else make it?
No, at least to my knowledge.
So what are we gonna do? Do you have any plan of escape?
Escape? It doesn't matter anymore.
What are you talking about?
What? Did you really believe me when I said we were local?
Unknowingly to Jayla, Philip enters the mess hall and begins listening in.
I don't understand. Who sent you?
Did you really never consider the possibility that we were sent by the Central Cast, whom your facility ignored in your foolish excavation of the Turngate tomb? Now look what happened. All because of your prideful chief overseer, Wilbur Frisk.
So, you were sent to finish us off?
No. Well, not yet at least. The Central Cast wanted you alive in order to learn the truth of what happened here. But since everything has fallen apart, if anyone leaves this shelter, it'll be me. For all I know, you and Philip are both infected by now. The Central Cast told me to keep everything a secret, no matter what, and I intend to honor that. Once I make contact with them, I'll tell them to raise the entire installation. It's for the greater good, Amabel. I'm sorry, I have...
Though you may evade death once, it will always greet you in the end.
Oh no! Failure once again! What a pity! Our monkey Philip is like a magnet dragging into the grave every person he rests his hopes on. Strange that she didn't have any keys which would certainly have helped you in the future. And there isn't even a cheese sandwich here.
Jayla Kwon, the leader of the archaic team, is dead. Having been distracted in her conversation with Amabel, she failed to hear the approaching rockworm. Using a metal rod, Philip pries open the door to the storage lab. He is once again treading new territory. Finding a blocked door, Philip removes the barricade and enters to find a familiar sight. The residential area. Remembering this was where he found his father's body, he goes to the library.
Find him.
Finding his father's body is missing. Philip is filled with questions. Could Howard be alive? Returning to the storage area, he repairs another generator.
Are you serious? What kind of script is this?
Jesus, finally. Looks like from now on we can only count on ourselves. Jayla, the last member of the expedition, is dead now. She wasn't just a rescuer, but an employee of the archaic caste. When we meet, I'll tell you everything I've learned. However strange it may sound, maybe it's better that it happened after all. I hope that at least you're all right for now. Actually, I'm not as far away as you think. Now, you need to get to the surface. Just go straight ahead. You'll recognize the exit by a noticeable rise up. Then head to the elevator. When you're up, you'll see the bridges that lead right to me. I'm inside the meteorological center. The door to it will be in front of you after you get out. On the right will be the main core of the shelter station, and on the left, the hangars. But it doesn't really matter. I'll meet you there. See you.
I think you've already thought to yourself the same thing that I have. What will be the outcome? Will you meet each other? Even if you meet, will she be alive? The end is close and the excitement increases. It amuses me, but I would not recommend you to relax yet.
Philip proceeds deeper in the storage area and is soon forced to enter another ventilation system.
He's here. He's coming.
Fearing that he isn't alone in the vents, Philip unlocks one of the grates and finds himself in an office. He sees what appears to be several figures standing in the adjacent room. This is possibly the quarantine zone that was used on the other DNA experiment patients.
Made him angry! Now he won't stop following us! And worse, he brought his friends along!
Having escaped the hunter and his friend, Philip finds an elevator, finally beginning the long ascension. Having at last reached the surface, Philip finds the only thing standing between him and Amabel are two bridges, the first of which needs fuel.
I see you're having some difficulties with saving me yet another time. You probably already understand how this bridge system works. I don't know what happened to the thing that moves the bridge, but I'm sure you'll think of something. Look in the hangars. There surely must be something useful in there.
Philip makes his way to the hangars, searching for fuel. After escaping yet another turn gap, Philip crosses the first bridge, reaching the archaic HQ. Entering the building, Philip finds it a wreck, with the damage caused by the rockworm leaving holes in the walls. Several bodies of Jayla's squad mates remain, having been killed by the roaches. After hiding in the lower levels of the archaic HQ for some time, Paul C. starts making his way back to the entrance with the goal of reaching the helipad. His luck turns south quickly, however, as a rockworm emerges from the walls and gives chase. Unaware he had just seen the last surviving operative, Philip makes his way to the higher levels, searching for the bridge controls. Soon finding just that, he activates the second bridge, allowing him to reach Amabel's location.
Warning. Due to certain circumstances, the meeting is cancelled. All employees are requested to leave the room and go back to the...
I understand your fears, Soul Pal. It's always weird getting advice from someone who had long lost the ability to speak and turned into ashes. But now, it's no time for hesitation. I'm grateful to you. However, I must tell you that...
Unsure what Red has been trying to tell him, Philip continues on his way back to the bridge. Paul C., having managed to escape the rockworm, flees through the tunnels till reaching the occupied mine. He then begins hearing a voice in his head.
How long have I been running? Where am I? My strength has almost left me. I can't feel anything but the cold shivers and utter terror. We underestimated the inhabitants of the cursed station. All my friends are dead. Only Jayla's fate remains a mystery to me. Maybe she managed to escape. I started hearing strange voices in my head. They don't cease even for a second. But even if I'm concentrating, I can't understand a thing. One of the voices is louder than the others. It's always repeating something and laughing. It's driving me crazy. Back then in the main hub, I decided to go down to the lower level in hope of finding a temporary shelter, but it's only made the situation worse. I heard a strange noise that was getting closer with every second, and suddenly a wall next to me turned into a pile of rubble and a bizarre gigantic worm emerged from it. I ran as fast as I could, opening doors randomly until I realized that those were not just corridors, but some kind of network for communication between the various points of the station. Somehow, I managed to break away and was left completely alone. When I realized that, I noticed my leg was broken, and my body was covered in cuts and scratches. I started losing strength because of the heavy bleeding. Now I'm here, afraid to look around every corner in fear of finding someone there. I have to carry on. I have to.
Moments after writing this note, Paul is suddenly attacked by a group of altered spiders, causing him to fire his sidearm repeatedly. While this did scare off the spiders, it attracted the attention of a nearby rockworm. Upon hearing it crash through the floor in a neighboring room, Paul turns to run in a panic, only to slip and fall off of a railing, to his death. At the same time, Philip heads outside.
Here it is, the moment of truth. I can hear your heartbeat. What will happen now?